Two. Hey Domingo, how are you? I am so honored that you would join me on a very important interview in your life and in my life, because everything we do every day is important, correct?
That's correct, 100%.
Excellent. So I would like to introduce my audience to Domingo Silvas. I met him at a marketing live event last month at No Excuses #6. He got up on stage and shared his story with us, and I was so impressed that I had to get him on an interview, and he has graciously honored me and said yes, he will do the interview with me. On stage at No Excuses, he shared with us that he was a simple Latino, right? Was it Mexico or
Half
Santo Domingo?
Mexican, half Puerto Rican, yes.
Puerto Rico and half Mexico. Excellent. So I got it half right. Good. I didn't want to say it earlier because I wasn't too sure, but yes. So a Latino, and he, like the other day I watched this movie about in a Latino town in, I think it was New Mexico State, where the Latinos, they were just so focused on their farm and they didn't see beyond the university. So when I saw this guy, Domingo, I was like, I connected the two. And I want to share with people who think that there's no life after high school. I want them to think bigger, and because of Domingo's story. Domingo, can you quickly tell us how it is that you went from doing your job to getting this big idea that you could be an entrepreneur, and then moving on to the bigger idea that you can help other people empower, build, and live their dream?
I think as I put some thought into this, I think I was always an entrepreneur from day one. What I mean by that is, I can remember times when I was little where I was always looking for the easier or the better way or the faster way of some sort of return. Either it was for fun or money or to get by. We grew up in a really small home. Both my parents, at the time I was growing up, were working the fields, and we didn't have a lot of money. So I looked for opportunity, and I think a lot of us can relate to that, because if you've ever been a person where you needed a little extra money, you sold candy or you sold something, or you took a look at some sort of value provided, cut someone's yard, you needed to find a way. And that's a little of an entrepreneurial spirit of survival as well. But I also knew that I had an ability to be able to accomplish things a little bit faster. And I always wanted more. I've always wanted to experience more. I never saw a limit to a person's ability. And I think it's strongly because of that belief that I was able to pass through and not allow the traditional world, to really hold us down, or hold me down. And so I went out and built what I could. And I had a little vision. And with that vision, I really went out and focused on the ability to be able to accomplish something from a distance, no matter what it was. But I had to drive to accomplish it. And that's what really took me, that's what really took my first steps, how I took my first steps.
Right. So therefore, as you're saying very rightly there, because you had the vision of where you wanted to be and where you wanted to get to, you were able to explore and try and do the things to, make that vision come alive. Correct?
Yeah. And sometimes the vision is not necessarily a successful business. Sometimes it's not it can just be as simple as being on a beach and relaxing, or it's a different type of lifestyle that most of us probably try to achieve. And I think that's enough. I mean, we're not given the $100 million company thought idea in our heads overnight, but I think it becomes part of the story that you create based on the vision of you wanting a better life, a better lifestyle for you and your family, and so on.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that goes into the next question that I have for you. I'd like you to help the audience understand, the ones that are seeing here as well as the ones that will see the replay. how does somebody go from, how does somebody get to be able to unleash their dream life, their vision, even though right now all they're thinking is misery? Because every time, you talk to someone about living bigger, this is your misery now, but if you do this, and if you talk to this person, something might fall in place for you. And they're like, nah. So how do you get people to move from their misery to their living their dream, building that dream?
I believe everything in this world has a balance. And what I mean by that is when there's misery, there's good. And unfortunately, it's the misery is the easier sometimes component to actually feel comfortable in. And it's because we're living in it so long and we do it so often sometimes that's where we're comfortable. And so I share with people that I just had a conversation this morning with someone. I said, you have to celebrate all your wins, even if they're small. The moment that you start realizing that you made your first $10, you made your first $100, you're going somewhere, a new location you've never been before, you're meeting a mentor, you met someone, whatever that win is, you have to celebrate it, because as you start celebrating more and more wins, you start seeing the more positive side of things, and your vision becomes more clear on that side. It's because it's right now is so blurred because the negative side is really stronger. It's something that we're grown up in today's world with that. I mean, from the day that we're children with our parents, and then we go out and we have to get the job 9 to 5, and then after the job, you have to go get a part-time job because it's not enough, and life is just on us all the time. But if you can look at your dream and your vision that we talked about earlier, that ambition, that direction that you want to go in life, and celebrate all the wins, no matter how big or small it is, you'll start, that side of it, like I said earlier, will stop being so blurry and become more visible, and you'll start appreciating things. And it really is a decision. It's something that, it's a mindset. It's something that we really have to think about. But if you sit back and you just think about today, what you're going to be able to accomplish, and really appreciate what you've done and where you're at today, you'll actually see the world in a different light.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Right, excellent. And most people believe that they build their dream, their dream life and their story by figuring it out on their own. They don't like to take advice from others. And so therefore, they spend so many hours on the internet searching and researching and researching. Even in the business world, even in the brick and mortar business world, there are a lot of people out there, and they so stuck in the mindset of, I need to advertise my business. And I tell people, advertising is shouting at people, telling them, this is what I do, this is what I do, versus marketing is telling people, may I help you? That kind of thing. So, how do you, because you're a serial entrepreneur and you help a lot of people build their business, I feel that it is very, that you're very, how you would say, versed in answering the question of how do you get people to stop doing the research and, jump all the way into one program, into one course, and really get it going.
I share with people when I speak about the universal principles. So when I look at business, there is a component, there's some components that are vital for success of a business. And I talk about this, and I'm actually coming out with it a little bit more, but they're called the 8 universal principles. And they intertwine with each other, okay? They touch every element of it. And this will go towards the answer, but it's from taking the process of entrepreneurship or a business model from the idea, okay, the first one's idea, understanding the brand, the market, the team, finance, internal and external strategies, internal, external, JV and alliances, and number 8 would be expansion or exit, depending on the business or individual. What's interesting about this entire thing, when I share with people what you're trying to do, you think about the first one as the idea, the napkin idea, It's the point of view of something that you're trying to accomplish. It's the idea of the service or so on. And then you think about the brand, right? The brand on what represents the idea that you're creating. The third one, which is market, is essential, but it's also something I tell people you have to not spend all your time in. You're right. Some people focus so much on that the third one, that they forget about the other elements. But you have to, as an entrepreneur and starting businesses, you have to be prepared to do one word, basically, pivot. So you want your minimal viable product, your MVP done, and that is doing part of number 3, which is market, is really going out and testing your market, asking people about the service and getting their point of view, but getting something to market pretty quickly so that you can then see what the marketplace is looking at when it looks at your service or product, or how it accepts it, what the price points and stuff like that. There's no one true course out there that teaches you everything. There's no one true course, not one mentor out there that's going to be everything that you need in a box. If anybody does advertise themselves that way, it just doesn't work. You have to be prepared to understand exactly where you're at in business. You have to be able to see and be prepared to pivot the moment that the audience shares with you what they like and don't like with the product. And then you have to be strong enough to make that decision, to make the changes that you need to make, and then you need to go to market. Most people forget about creating an MVP, which is a minimum viable product. Get your product out there, get it tested, let the market see what they like. A lot of people spend so much time on building that one product, and they try to make it as perfect as possible. This is it. This is the final product. And when they go into market, it fails. It's because it's perfect to them. It's perfect to me. This is my baby. Of course, you dreamed it. It's perfect for you. But when the marketplace tells you and shares with you that maybe this is just not the right color, and you pivot a little bit and you make the changes, but it's still the same idea that you wrote on a napkin, that's success. And so really go out there, find the right mentors that you may need during the time that you need it for the certain position that you're in your business. And that's what I share with a lot of entrepreneurs.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. That's great advice. Excellent. And one more question. When I did research on you on your blog, I mean, it's pretty cool blog, because the impression I got from it was that one, he's an international traveler, and then I read your words below, and it's like, wow, that's what the picture says. And then the pictures that you have at the top kind of just shows that you're totally cool with yourself, and so therefore it gives the viewer or me the impression that I'm somebody that you could talk to. So I mean, that was great. So I'm sure that if anybody were to find you and to do business with you, they would definitely get that from you when they work with you. So could you give us a quick thing about how people could find you?
Yeah, I'm actually rebuilding my website right now, but it's actually going to be, it's live now, domingosilvas.com. But you'll start seeing a little bit more about me, about my personality, about what I do, about my passions, because I think it's important for you to understand who I am. And when you see me, you'll see it's the same person. I believe in true photos. I believe what you see me as today is what you'll see me as tomorrow. I'm always an open book. I call myself a serial entrepreneur because I love entrepreneurship. I live it. I breathe it. I'm so passionate about everyone's dreams that they want to accomplish. I've seen so many people just accomplish so much. People I've helped, people I've advised, and just watching from far away. And so a big part of entrepreneurship is actually giving back. And so I find myself giving back quite a bit. And that's what when I spoke at NES 6, my story was about giving back and hopefully giving a message that people needed to hear at that moment or whenever they watched the video. And so you'll find me, and you'll see me going out there speaking more, but you can find out what's going on with me at domingosilvas.com.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I thank you very much for your precious moments, and I look forward to seeing you more often at NES or whatever, because I hear you said something on Facebook about you're going to New York this weekend.
Yes. I'll be going to New York this weekend. I'm going to start putting my schedule on my website. And the goal is that hopefully I get to meet people since I'll be traveling around the United States and a few other countries. And the goal is just to meet you and find out what you're doing and see how I can help you.
Good. Is there anywhere in particular, because I do have a friend in New York that I'm sure would love to meet you?
New York City.
Just New York City?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell them to connect with you on Facebook, and you'll figure out where you're going to meet, which coffee house.
Sounds great.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much again, Domingo Silvas. And remember, it is to empower people, build people, and help them to make sure that they're living their dream. Excellent. And thank you very much, Domingo.
Thank you.
Bye now.